Hey, what's up, guys? It's Haisam the Giraffe Rida, black belt in Jiu-Jitsu, black belt in Judo as well. This is the 10 questions with Haisam Rida. Let's go.
First question. What do you think would happen if you fought Jon Jones in a grappling match?
Oh man, that's a good question. Actually, I fantasized about this before, and I met Jon Jones actually in Vegas. And we actually it's crazy how similar we look. We have the same belts and everything, and I think it's gonna be a very very interesting matchup for sure. But I think I'm gonna end up catching him in a submission. That's 100% for sure.
Question 2.
Yeah.
Have you ever had to use your skills in a real life situation outside of the gym?
Yes, sir. Man, hey, to be honest, like I started training when I moved to Japan at age 15, 16, I'll say. So for the most part, my sensei, my coach was very strict with me, so I would say I grew up very focused, very disciplined. But there's like two situations which I had to use jiu-jitsu outside of the gym. The first one was in Japan, and the second one was actually recently in America. So the first one actually was in back in the days. I just moved to Tokyo at 23-year-old me, 23, 24, I'll say. With my boy Thomas, who's like my best friend. We went out, just kind of like one drunk Western guy in Japan who was trying to create trouble. And I think he bit off more than he could chew, and then he came, shoved me, and I think I had to even though it wasn't a jiu-jitsu technique, I had to throw a punch. I caught him clean on the chin, and then he was done. But we had to get out of there. Hope I don't get in trouble, because this happened in Japan, Tokyo. So that's like the first time actually I had to do anything aggressive outside the mat. And the second one was this was in Austin, Texas, when a homeless dude break into my car, and it was my lucky day. I caught him in the act, and that's when I had to use my jiu-jitsu again. I remember he was already running away from the car, so I had to chase him down, grab him by the arm 2-on-1. I drag him across, hit him with a meanest foot sweep, and it wasn't on the mat, it was outside, on the asphalt. So he fell, his head hit the mat, but he kept trying to be aggressive, like, oh please, I don't want to go back to jail, I just got out of jail. I'm like, my guy, you shouldn't be breaking into my car then. And the more he apologized, it pissed me off. And, I just wanted to take control of the situation. I got on his back, chucked him unconscious, nice and easy, very gentle though, He went unconscious, and then I got on knee on belly on him, and I held him down until the cops got there. That was the second time. And yeah, that's the only two times I would say I had to use it outside the mat. And hopefully that's the last one.
Question 3. What's the hardest part of being a professional fighter?
Oh man, it's like, there's a lot, of things that's difficult, and but also I feel like, the hardest part is just trying to be normal outside of doing jiu-jitsu. I started training very very long and at a very young age, at 15, 16, and I do a lot of things one way, so it's very hard to sometimes create, strong relationship, especially when it comes to dating and stuff like that. I tend to have a hard time when it comes to those, because it's I just want to go to the gym, get the work done, and it's I'm not very good at small talking, and I think with dating you have to do a lot of that and all that stuff. So yeah, I have a hard time just trying to be, get the right balance in life. I think so.
Question 4.
Yeah.
Who's the toughest opponent you've ever faced, and why?
This is a tough one to handpick, but especially at the black belt level, even making it to ADCC to cut in the top 16 in the world of every division is tough. But honestly speaking, this was when I was still in Michigan when I moved there, and I was still competing under Assembly Jiu-Jitsu, a pretty small gym out there. And I think one of my biggest exposure on the big stage in America was Who's Number One, right? And Who's Number One, they had, I think this was 2021, ADCC was canceled for that year, so they had to do a Who's Number One championship. And I got invited to the heavyweight division. I was still a light heavyweight at the time, so but somehow I made it to the third round fight, which was, I think, there was like 10K on the line, and I had to go against New Wave's Giancarlo Bodoni. And yeah, I remember him being just really, really tough, and it was a 15-minute match. And I honestly, I was very broke at the time too, and I really, really wanted everything. So I think I just made it a lot tougher on myself because I'm like, man, I can't lose this fight. I need to get this cash. And that's something that stuck with you. Even though I've had like many different opponents, different situations. In that situation alone, I remember it's been a tough year in Michigan, and I needed to get that cash. So I'm like, man, please let me win. And somehow it was a close decision, but I got the dub. So yeah.
Question 5. What's your favorite memory so far in your career?
Man, there's a lot that come in, and actually I think this answer is gonna surprise a lot of people because the cyborg fight. People are gonna think that one, but actually it was again on who's number one against all the crews. And I remember, that was around the time, what's it called? ADCC trials was going on. So everybody was like going for the trials. I remember I was living in America at the time, and then the East Coast trial just went on. And I think 2 or 3 weeks prior to the event, I had a fight against Giancarlo, which I won. That was the 10K story I did. And he ended up winning the trials the following weekend. And I remember just being frustrated. And because I wasn't an American citizen, I couldn't do the trials there. And also I remember there was a lot of restriction at the time. This was 2021, so I couldn't travel to go do the trials elsewhere. So I remember like reaching out to Mo and like, hey man, this is my situation. I know there's gonna be a West Coast trials. Can you at least give me a pass to do that one? Because I can't travel and I'm not a citizen here and this and that. And he was like, man, if we allow you to compete, we're just gonna have to do it with every non-American living in the States. So we cannot do that. But he told me, I got an eye on you, and I know you have an upcoming fight, which is on who's number one against all the crews. And all the crews was having a good year too. He was coming off a big win against Nick Rod, which was like, okay, he was actually the favorite to win that fight. And he said, if he can do good, I'm gonna put in your word or something like that to get the invite. So I had the pressure was on, and to me, I was like, it was a do or die fight for me. And I think I still have it pinned on my Instagram. That was like one of the wins that I did, and I hit them with the Are You Not Entertained celebration. I remember Elder Cruz was a good wrestler. He shot for a double. I stopped the takedown. I spin to the back and then choke him from behind. That was one of my favorite memories, my favorite submissions, and like the moment just felt amazing, and I knew that guaranteed my tickets to ADCC. So yeah, it was special.
Amazing. Question 6. How long does it take for a beginner to get a black belt, and how long did it take you?
Yeah, there's a lot of controversy going on right now, with the black belt thing going on. But realistically speaking, I would say between, when we take it to averagely between 7 to 8 years or 7 to 10 in between that, okay? Depending on like your consistency and like how good you can be, all right? But, because I feel like most people spend at least a year and a half, 2 years at every stage, So maybe 2 at white, or a year and a half at white, 2 at blue, 2 at purple, and brown and black. All right. So, but usually, I would say between 8 to 10 years, and it took me 7.5, I believe, 7.5 to get my black belt. Yeah.
Okay. Question 7. How important is size and weight in grappling?
Size and weight. So when we say size, like height as well. Yeah, I think there's always pros and cons in a lot of, in life, But for me, I can only speak for myself. I have the height. Usually I have the height advantage most of the time when I compete. But I find it like, yes, if I can like keep the distance, and even like open guard person, long distance person, if I keep it within reach, and I can get to certain positions before my opponents react, or I react a lot faster because they miscalculate too, right? But also, I feel like when my opponents, they are kind of like a pressure person, okay, and then close the distance here, sometimes it's a lot harder to create distance. So I think it plays 50-50. It's how good you use whatever you got. You know, if you have the weight advantage, it's how good can you like use your weight to put pressure on. If you have the height advantage, how much can you keep the distance and like closing in, and then use it to your advantage. So I think it can be both ways. It can make or break you sometimes. Yeah.
Question 8. If you were not a pro fighter, what would you be doing right now?
Yeah. I grew up playing not a lot of sport. I grew up actually playing football. America considers it soccer. And I think I was actually very good at it. I was doing it like seriously, you know, growing up, you know, from elementary all the way. You know, that's like what I did for the most part. And I was that was the dream to pursue football, you know, pursue soccer, until until I moved to Japan when I was 15, and like everything changed, you know. And I got the opportunity to try jiu-jitsu. I fell in love with it, and I started to like enjoy doing that more, and slowly, you know, gave up soccer. When even after getting into high school, admitted into high school in Japan, I played soccer for a few months, but I was like, I just wasn't feeling it anymore, and I just like pursued soccer, which most people are like, okay, don't know if that was a smart decision because there's more money in football, but hey, passion over bread sometimes, I guess.
Okay. Question 9. What's the most painful submission you've ever been caught in?
I mean, like they said, a painful one. It's a painful memory. Again, I've competed a lot of times. I think from the years 2020 up until 2023, I was one of the regular competing on like a who's number one. I think I have a 5-2 record on competing on that stage. So that means I've competed at least 7 times there. And again, one of my painful ones. I have the best memories and the painful memories on who's number one. And this was against Luke Griffin, again from New Wave. You know, he's actually doing good now. He's on, but at that time, you know, I got caught in the most embarrassing way. You know, it's part of it. And it's not what happened, because like getting submitted is part of, you know, jiu-jitsu. You know, you get caught. But it was how it happened. You know, I remember I was staying with my friend in like Dallas, and his parents were there. I wanted to put on a show, but you know, we just started right away. He caught me quick. He spun through, caught my leg within like 26 seconds or something like that. Very quick one, and it was very embarrassing, and it's a painful memory. But that did a lot for me. It made me better. It made me wanted to join B team and to work more on my legs. So I think that improved a lot of things. Yeah.
10th and final question. If you could fight anyone in history, who would it be and why?
Anyone dead or alive?
Yep.
Man. So again, back growing up, I think I always had something for fighting. I really enjoyed watching it, but I just didn't know because I wasn't exposed to training, especially growing up in Ghana. And I enjoy watching a lot of like Bruce Lee, you know, fights or documentaries and stuff like that. And his IQ, man. I don't know if I would like want to fight him, but I would have loved to, you know, go train with him. You know, if he was still alive, I would just like go wherever he is to just go pick his brain for sure. And yeah, I think that's like the guy I would love to like at least train with or just pick his brains. Yeah. All right, thanks for watching, guys. This was the 10 questions with Haisam Rida. Like and subscribe. Os.